All right, ladies and gentlemen, welcome back to the club. This is the Clean Slate Video Club, as you know. So please present your identification so we know you're joined. And if you haven't joined yet, subscribe and comment down below. We're here to talk about movies. You guys should talk back at us. I don't want to feel alone out here. But anyways, I'm here with Daniel Garza, my co-host for the club. I'm Carson Phillips. Today we watched a little movie, not the Nicolas Cage version, but the OG, The Wicker Man.
Alright guys, here's the logline. A Puritan police sergeant arrives in a Scottish island village in search of a missing girl, who the pagan locals claim never existed. This movie is practically Shutter Island and Midsommar, like slammed together.
Yeah, they definitely owe this movie something. Royalties, probably. Yeah, I had never watched this before. Most of these I haven't seen before, but this is one I knew very little about. I just knew that he burned a... I just knew how the film ended based off of clips I'd seen of the Nicolas Cage remake. So I haven't seen either movie. And then, so I was just like, let's watch a classic. And as I was watching it, I was like, this is a horror folk film. So like Midsommar. But also, it's a musical, which
100%.
My mind was blown by this movie, and I'm so excited to talk about this.
Yeah, this movie has been my favorite of the classics so far. If you guys don't know yet, we're in the classics week of 31 Nights of Halloween, so we're reviewing all sorts of movies from the decades that truly bring the genre to where we're at right now. I think this movie stylistically is so good. Like the props, the coloring, just the isolation that the movie brings you to. I mean, I couldn't have been more happy with a film that one, that's in the 70s, but two, that's just like, it's so mindless but at the same time so grounded. It's truly unsettling. So I really, really enjoyed this movie and everything that it offered. And then the ending is just so sweet. It's like the most unsettling ending.
Oh, it's such a good ending.
I don't know. I just love the set design of this movie through in and throughout. Like, it was probably my favorite. Out of all the movies we watched so far, probably.
I think I 100% agree. Like,
yeah.
This movie, sorry, we had to edit something out. This movie is very, like, kind of, I don't want to say meandering, but it kind of takes its time getting into the creepy stuff in some ways. But you also quickly realize everyone here is deeply misled and disturbed, and they fully are drinking the Kool-Aid of whatever's happening behind the scenes. And yeah, it's just crazy because our entry into this world is this Christian police officer, and he's devout in his faith and his beliefs, and he's introduced to this pagan island. And at first you could see him kind of questioning, like, okay, I guess it's maybe fine, just not good for me. But then eventually it's like, oh, there's like kids around this, and like he's trying to find this missing girl. And so things just keep escalating, and you can see like he's almost like, I don't want to say gaslighting himself, but he kind of is like tricking himself that everything's fine, and then it just escalates where he's like, I have to do something. And then the movie just becomes chaos at that point. But it's so good and creepy. And then the music aspect of it, I don't know if it's because I didn't know that it was essentially like a musical, but those aspects I think actually were good, and the music was good, and it took place in the universe of what was happening. It wasn't like cheesy, I guess. It felt like, oh, it makes sense that they'd be singing or whatever. Like, it made like logical sense, and I think that worked for me. I've never seen anything else like this, but
yeah, I think again some of these older movies kind of fall into a campy space just a tad. And to be honest, this was one of the movies where I was like, okay, this movie feels a little bit longer. And again, these movies that we've been reviewing in the classics category,
super short,
are very short. So there is that aspect of like, maybe that's a dislike that I have. But all the while, I think there's just this question of morality when you have somebody that's so grounded in their morals and faith, and to now be like almost at a crossroads of like, do I do something? Do I accept what this is, or do I act. And in the end, I appreciate that the character stayed true to who he was, but at the end he pays the ultimate price for that. And it just kind of it's just it's a weird, creepy situation. I don't know how to explain.
I think as Christians it might hit us differently, so I don't know what probably. Obviously I don't know what everyone watching this their background is. Maybe you're pagan and you're like, yeah, he deserved it. So but regardless, there's like this line where he's told like you don't even know what sacrifice means, and then ultimately he, spoiler alert, is the sacrifice. And it has, if you know pagan beliefs and you know Christian beliefs, there's some interesting ideas being floated, but the film doesn't care about that. It's just telling us this story, and these characters are who they are. Like the leader of the town, he very much is this guy that's manipulating the town, but also his followers, they're not wavering either. So it's just kind of interesting to see these worlds kind of combine to make a really creepy, upsetting film. And it just ends. It's a hard cut, and it just ends. Also, they have really great animal masks. I don't know how else they're disturbing.
It's so cool though. Yeah, I mean,
I don't know.
For me, this movie is probably about a 4.5 out of 5.
That's valid.
Besides minus 1 or 2 scenes.
There's okay, for those of you trying to avoid nudity in a film, this has a substantial amount.
Yeah, it does.
Substantial, yeah.
Which it always sucks.
So
when
out
a
of
movie
pocket,
ends
too.
of being our favorite, and there's just like an excessive amount of something that it's like
Mom, Dad, you don't want to watch this one.
Yeah, this one has a heavy trigger warning towards nudity. But I think it really just lends the question of morality and how far can you withstand something. Are you willing to go to the end with it, or are you willing to sacrifice like everything that you believe in? And I thought that was like hands down. I mean, that agrees with everything that we live and how we are in life. So I think maybe that's what hit so hard for me.
It's literally like a martyr story. Like it's it felt like the Old Testament. I was like, this is crazy.
Yeah. But at the end of the day, the imagery of this movie is so excellent for a 70s film that, I mean, for me, I'm new into older movies like this. So to be able to see these grand set pieces that like kind of take place, it just made me like think, wow, like I'm glad that there are movies like this where they like, you know, this pays off. It has a great story, great message. The imagery is amazing, and I definitely I love this movie. Okay, anything else?
I was just say low key, the first, or I guess it was the second film we watched for this year was Getaway.
Okay.
Which low key, this is referencing, or Getaway is referencing this movie in some sort of way, like going to an island. There's like a pagan sacrificial religion, but obviously there's a twist on that in Getaway. But it's fun to see with these older films, you know, how wide reaching the influence is.
I wish Getaway did this, to be honest. I think Getaway would have been a great movie if it did this.
They just wanted to make it funny.
Yeah, and it was.
So now that I think about the twist in Getaway, if they did that but fully sincere, it might have worked actually for me. I don't know.
For sure. Anyway, all right. Scare factor. You're the police officer. You're on this island,
out, bro. Also, I'm shooting fools again. I'm not. Also, after he researched what these sacrifices are, and he's like reading it out loud to this old lady for some reason, and he's like reading it, and he's like, "Yeah, the fool is the one they kill," and I'm like, "Yeah, it's gonna be you, dude." And what costume does he put on as the fool? I'm like,
"Yeah,
are you an idiot?"
Foreshadowing there.
Yeah, he made me. I was so mad. I mean, I love that kind of foreshadowing because it makes a movie more anxious. But I would survive. I would shoot people. I would stay at the airplane. Like I'm.
Yeah.
Why does he not have a partner?
I did think about that too. There's a lot of plot holes, but we don't need to get into that.
Yeah, we don't need to get into it.
All right, guys. Well, that's going to do it for... What is the movie called?
The Wicker Man.
The Wicker Man.
Burning Man.
Anyway, you guys,
the
I'm
movie.
pretty sure you can watch this on all the free streaming sites. Tubi.
The ads really diminish this movie's value, though, I will say.
100%.
So
there's like crazy scenes, and all of a sudden it's like Paxlovid.
Literally, I was like, dude, give
Not a
me a chill.
sponsor.
Not yet.
That's crazy. Anyway, guys, well, you can go check that movie out wherever. Again, there are some heavy warnings there, so just look into it before you watch it. But guys, we are continuing to do 31 Nights of Halloween, so make sure you stick around for all the movies that we're doing. We are just at the tip of the iceberg here. Make sure you go subscribe if you haven't. Go comment, like, all those things, and be kind, rewind, and we'll see you tomorrow in the next episode. Peace.
Peace.